We're not trying to turn Snow White into a MAGA conservative movie. We're just trying to represent the values that Snow White is based in, that are sadly being forgotten in this new adaptation.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
None of them remakes are any good.
The movie is terrible anyway.
Not gonna be safe for the prince. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Or you're making this girl boss story based on an important father figure. Her father tells her to be brave and strong. Don't you think that there's a, something redeeming about men in this story?
But why do you have to mess with a classic, especially with someone who doesn't even seem to like her own character?
Am I a psychopath?
But the problem is that Disney fundamentally isn't capable of making anything that is truly non-woke anymore.
They both have that look on their face, just like the feminists, like, yeah, we're so much better than you. Anyway.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
You know what? Maybe Disney does.
Are you having trouble paying your bills, Rachel?
You don't have to make men seem emasculated and puny to make women seem strong, and you don't have to eliminate them altogether, as this actress has actually suggested.
Did Disney just hit rock bottom? Their new Snow White remake didn't just flop, it face-planted. What was supposed to be a major win is now spiraling into one of their worst box office disasters ever. And how did it all fall apart this fast? Well, it didn't just stumble, it crashed.
So, Disney's Snow White flops on sleepy opening. Of course it does, because they were disrespectful to their audience, and she did a bunch of stuff.
If Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea. Maybe not destroy a classic from my childhood and put an actress in there that not only hates the plot and the storyline of the movie she's in, but also seemingly hates Snow White, the character herself.
This movie could have easily been cheap enough that they would have earned back their production budget and then some. $43 million for an opening weekend is terrible. It's terrible for a widely released, high-budget Disney film, but it should have been more than enough to make your money back. And then there's the movie itself, which by all accounts is terrible. It was destined to be terrible. We've been through all the problems with it. This is an uber-woke, feminist, girl boss reimagining of one of the most cherished films and stories of all time.
One weekend later, it got way worse. With almost no real competition, Snow White still collapsed, dropping nearly 70% at the box office, just $13.7 million in its second weekend. After 2 full weeks, it barely crawled past 120 million worldwide, and nearly all of that came in the first 3 days. That's not just bad, it's a total implosion. And instead of owning the failure, Rachel Zegler posted a celebration. Fans exploded. Critics called her out as arrogant, tone-deaf, completely disconnected from the backlash. Just like that, the PR disaster doubled down. But Hollywood wasn't just watching, they were panicking.
So she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat, and that's why people are so annoyed.
Everyone likes to make assumptions about my life. No, I've been getting a lot of questions about, how do I feel? Let's address the elephant in the room. It's great, okay? It's great. I'm honored. I don't know why I sound so angry right now. I'm honored. Am I a psychopath?
She's gone on to talk about this film numerous times, how she once thought Snow White was creepy, she doesn't like the prince, she thinks she should get paid more because she has to wear that dress, she should get paid for streaming. I mean, talk about biting the hand that feeds you.
They should call this movie Snow Woke and the Seven.
As Snow White crashed and burned, Hollywood hit the panic button. Insiders started saying what audiences had been screaming for years. Studios pushed the political angle too far. Now, they're backing off fast. Industry sources admit it loud and clear. All those message over movie projects, they've been tanking hard.
Still watching and shaking your head? Smash that like button. It helps more people see the truth behind the chaos, and yeah, it helps us grow too.
Executives are scrambling to rethink everything. The goal now? Drop the agendas, win back the crowd. That means more universal stories, less preaching. And the breaking point, the moment everything flipped, Snow White's failure lit the fuse. But the fallout, that was just getting started.
Disney just nose planted remarkably with Snow White and spend $250 million to make a dull mess and sink their damn company.
They went woke.
Yeah.
She went out and said stuff woke that was going to hurt the film. They couldn't come out and go against her because then you're going after somebody for saying what you say you believe.
Even the most girl-bossy, feminist girls out there that I know, they still come home, they cuddle up on the couch, and you know what they watch? Rom-coms.
You can have female characters that are empowered, that do great things, they're heroines. I mean, that's fantastic. I don't think anybody has an issue with it. But you don't have to disparage men in the process. You don't have to call Prince Charming a stalker. You don't have to say that you could just eliminate him from the whole movie. I mean, there is a space where you can have strong females and strong males. It's called the real world.
Insiders aren't holding back anymore. The message is clear. Politics are bleeding the box office dry. Studios are now using Snow White's collapse as a warning sign. Big budget films built around a message instead of entertainment, just not sustainable. Executives have had enough. Appealing to niche audiences while burning through blockbuster budgets, it's a losing game. Now, studios are slamming slamming the brakes, reconsidering what gets greenlit, playing it safe with broader, less divisive stories. No one wants to be the next Disney-sized failure. But while studios scrambled to course correct, the backlash wasn't done yet.
The actress's race and the crackhead dwarves have become the least of my concerns. So apparently, according to them and according to the writers of Snow White and Disney, women can't even want to be in love anymore. That was back in the 30s when women actually wanted to be around men, actually wanted to be in love. Like,
you know, in the animated movie, she shows up to the dwarves' house. What does she do? She cleans the house, which is a mess, and she prepares a meal. But in the new movie, you can't have the lady cooking and cleaning. So what does she do in the new movie? She just takes a nap. That's the ideal of the modern woman.
Like, the culture is trying to push wokeness. Wokeness is not a deep archetype. It's using the idea of victimhood and vulnerability as a new religion.
This wasn't just a studio wake-up call. Audiences had already made up their minds. Moviegoers are done watching classic stories get twisted to fit social trends. People want fun, escapism, a good story without the side of lectures. And the numbers prove it. Films that focus on entertainment over agenda, crushing it. Hollywood's finally starting to listen, but it took a hard slap to the face. Jason Statham's new film, packed with fists and explosions, just beat Snow White on more screens. The man's nearly 60. Still taking names, and somehow pulled ahead of a Disney classic. If that's not a warning shot, what is?
Do you think this signals a permanent shift or just a momentary backlash? Let us know in the comments. We're reading all of them.
And in the middle of the chaos, one actress became the lightning rod.
I do feel like Snow White, and I love what we've been able to do with her, and I love that young girls can look up to her and that they have been looking up to her for 88 years.
As backlash exploded, all eyes landed on Rachel Zegler. The outrage wasn't just about the movie anymore, it was about her. Now, insiders say she might be quietly blacklisted. No announcements, no headlines, just silence. And behind the scenes, major studios were already making decisions without her name on the list.
So what do you think the odds are of this person working ever again?
But how many people do you hear about actors who you love? You love what? Look at Robert De Niro. I love like basically every movie he's ever done. Every time that guy opens his mouth as a private citizen, I'm like, oh my God.
Studios are backing off. Even Disney's hesitant to cast Rachel Zegler in any high-budget projects. Her public image? Too risky. Execs see her as a potential box office liability, and that's the last thing they need. Now her entire career's on the line. One flop and everything's hanging by a thread. The only support she's gotten? A quick shout-out from Pedro Pascal on Instagram. But was it real support or Disney damage control?
If you're still here, you're exactly who this channel's for. Hit subscribe. We dive into the stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear.
Because what happened next made the backlash even worse.
Or did Disney make him post her to try and save her career?
What can be said about this level of narcissism here? Greatest Disney box office bomb in the history of Disney live-action remakes, but certainly also the end of her career.
I feel like this Snow White controversy is single-handedly like rolling back feminism. Like, all these women are watching Rachel Zegler on their social media. They're hating her because she's absolutely destroying this role.
Rachel Zegler's Instagram celebration backfired instantly. The internet turned on her in seconds. Fans saw arrogance, not grace. Instead of humility, they saw someone completely out of touch, smiling through disaster. Public opinion flipped fast. One moment she was rising, the next she was branded egotistical and blind to reality. In today's Hollywood, that's all it takes. Years of goodwill, gone. And Disney knew they had to act fast before things got even uglier.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
I've been a star before, and what happens is people puff you up and tell you that you're really important in order to keep you focused so that they continue to make money out of you.
Now, Disney, have you ever considered that your fairy tales have actually stood the test of time because they are always relevant, because that is what a fairy tale is, because they have timeless, universal values and lessons that any person, regardless of their age, regardless of their generation, could connect to.
Once it became clear Snow White was box office poison, Disney moved fast. Billboards vanished, posters pulled, promo gone overnight. The company knew this wasn't just a flop, it was a brand emergency. Now they're in full damage control mode. But is it already too late? Rumors are swirling that Disney's rewriting the rule book, tightening contracts to stop actors from sounding off on political issues. After the backlash, they're not taking any more chances. Going forward, stars might have to make a choice: speak out or stay in the spotlight. And the next chapter, it could reshape Hollywood's entire playbook.
Somebody else said Snow White is kind, hopeful, resilient. Those are traits worth representing. Nope, not anymore. Outdated. If a woman is kind, that means that she is weak. We cannot have that anymore, ladies. You must be bossy at all times. You must be bratty, smug, and single and unhappy.
I know that you've rewritten it, and it's going to be about a Snow White that don't need no man to save her. Did you ever stop to think think that in this day and age, that is exactly what we want. There are women in this world who want that fairy tale because all they've known is the exact opposite.
Snow White didn't just flop, it made history. Audiences sent a loud message. Stop rewriting beloved stories to push an agenda. Now, studios are standing at a crossroads. Adapt fast or go broke trying to ignore the shift. Is this the fall of woke Hollywood or just a brutal reset? One thing's certain. Disney's image took a hit it might never recover from. And the rest of Hollywood, they're watching every step.